Greetings, petrolheads. Welcome back to Automation. Before we really get into this episode, I have to mention this. You guys know that I like BMWs, like up until the mid 2000s maybe. After that, well, they're still fine, but not what they used to be. However, now I've lost pretty much all faith in them whatsoever, because looking at the price list, okay? If you want a BMW 520i saloon, it'll cost you 45,950 euros and 1 cent. 1 cent. Don't forget the 1 cent. But that's not that's not an exception. For example, if you want a 528i, it'll cost you 52,000 euros and 1 cent. If you want a 535d, it'll cost you 65,800 euros and 1 cent again. Like, can you imagine going to a BMW dealer saying, "Hey, I want a 528i, and here's the 52k," and the salesman would go like, "Oh, wait, mister, excuse me. The price was 52,000 euros and 1 cent. Don't forget about the 1 cent." Can you imagine a situation like this? Like, who thought of that? Anyway, enough of that. Here's the car we're going to look at today. It is the AMW Weta in its latest iteration. These stats now take longer to load again. They used to load quite quickly in the beginning of the open beta. Now they load a little bit longer than usual, but I guess it's still fine. So this is a luxurious hatchback, and the easiest way to think of it is like thinking of it as like a Bentley in a hatchback suit, if you will. So it's a glued aluminum chassis with longitudinal engine placement, double wishbone front, multi-link rear, and aluminum panel material. We could make this from carbon fiber, but then I don't think we would really sell that many of these, because it would, like, the price would just skyrocket if we made it from carbon fiber, which is why we're keeping it aluminum. Aesthetically, you can see that we put some chrome on the front, some LEDs on these vents, the classical, the signature AMW grille, some aggressive headlights, more chrome on the side, and I'll admit, some pretty fancy taillights. But then again, this is not a Bentley. It serves a similar purpose, but then again, just like the Grizzly and the Royal, they are luxury cars, but they take luxury in a more modern sense. As I've explained once before, the interior would not be like wood and analog dials or something. You would get like the dashboard would be much more modern than that, with a little bit of carbon fiber, some polished aluminum, leather. Obviously, like, you can't have a luxury car without leather. And you would get digital tiles with some beautiful graphics and whatnot, and just everything would be so much more modern, so much more computerized, if you will, that it just takes a completely different approach to the whole luxury thing, which is AMW's style in terms of luxury cars. And I think this is what makes this car distinct from other luxury cars, aside from the fact that it's smaller and hatchback shaped, and also very practical because of it. And yeah, let's get to the engine, which is the 4.5 liter twin turbo V8 that you find in the Eagle V8, like in the Eagle Eco 8. It's the 4.5 liter twin turbocharged Eco version of this V8. It makes 300 horsepower, 578 newton meters of torque, decent economy, a very, very wide power band. Like, Look at that. You get 240 horsepower from when? From slightly above 3000 RPM. You get 240 horsepower up until the red line of 6000. Yeah, so the red line is 6000. That kind of power plateau means that you can just shift almost whenever you want, and you'll always have power. And to support that, we have an 8-speed double clutch gearbox. I will adjust the gearing though, so we have some overdrive. I forgot that previously, but I intended to do it. Yes. No, let's make 2 gears of overdrive, like that. Which gives us worse fuel economy, actually, than we had before. That's quite interesting. But then again, if we do this and adjust this again, so we get to 102nd gear. Yeah, there we go. Okay, let's refresh the stats quickly. Okay, so then I have to deal with all the red and green in here. 8-speed double clutch, electric LSD, 275mm rear tires, so it puts the power down very well. You can see that we only have 5.8% wheel spin, which is really low. 17-inch rims, obviously only the finest ones. The wheel diameter is a little bit low, I admit, for a luxury car, which is about ride comfort and all that, but 17-inch rims are a little bit more prestigious than, like, if you wanted really good wheel diameter, really good wheel or tire profile. If you wanted a lot of tire profile, you would have to go down to like 15-inch rims, and 15-inch rims are not really that impressive if it's gonna be a luxury car. So therefore we got some 17s. You can probably even fit 18s, but then that would affect our comfort. Yeah, and our drivability also. They would look cooler, of course, but yeah, let's go down to 17s. 17s are actually big enough for a small car like this. Vented discs, as far as brakes go, with 350mm up front, 315 on the rear, and 4 pistons. Fully clad under tray to make sure we have a decent top speed. Why is this higher now? Let's increase this again. Sorry. But this cooling airflow didn't save properly. Anyway. Yeah, just to have the cooling airflow, wing angle is irrelevant because we don't have aerodynamic fixtures. Anything else? Yeah, a little bit of brake airflow. 4 luxury seats with luxury infotainment. Power, like all driver assists. Advanced safety. Active comfort springs with semi-active 10% passive sway bars, ensuring we have a very comfortable ride. The steering behavior graph is very, very drivability focused, as you can see in the 1.01 multiplier here. So very much, this is a very tame car. It will understeer, of course, but it's not a sports car. It's not meant to, go like sideways everywhere. And also we have a comfort preset here as far as suspension goes, and a very high ride height. The roll angle could be better, of course, but the ride quality is going to be really good. So overall 51.1 drivability on a 300 horsepower rear-wheel drive hatchback is pretty damn good, isn't it? The average reliability is 66.2, excuse me. Considering that we have a lot of fancy electronics in there, it's also very good. And the practicality is 62.5. That is a great value for a luxury car, which is not always, which doesn't always have the reputation of being very practical. And if we go to the markets here, to this section, you can see that it costs a little bit more than $60,000. We would probably round it up to 60,500 or something like that. And wait, does this? No, this increases it further. So 60,500 would be the price for the Weta. That is, if you convert those dollars into euros, it is about on par with a Golf R. Yeah, a little bit higher than that, but I think about the same as a BMW M135i. Those cars have pretty similar power outputs, and therefore I think they might be the cars that you would compare this to in terms of price. However, comparatively speaking, this is the more comfortable one, this is the more luxurious one, and it's probably the one with less performance around the track. By the way, there has been a small update and now the tracks work as intended, so the car will accelerate just like normal. No more bugs. $129.7, so yeah. The other cars I mentioned will definitely be faster around the track. However, this is by far the more comfortable, the more pleasant GT car, if you will. It's also just as practical as those hatchbacks, but then again, it's a luxury car. We might also make another version with, a more powerful engine than this, depending on what kind of feedback I get on this car and whether customers would be interested in this, and in a more powerful version. But for now, I think this is a pretty good base version. With 300 horsepower, it's certainly got more than enough grunt. And of course, there's always the option of adding more power. Anything else I wanted to say? I don't think so. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Leave me some feedback on the car if you want to. And for now, thanks for watching. I will see you guys next time.